Vanity metrics are not going to increase your revenue. In this video, I'm going to show you the data that we track that has produced $325 million in revenue for our industrial clients. All right, every single time that we have a discovery call, talk to a potential customer and onboard new clients, when we ask about the metrics that they're tracking, historically with other agencies or even internally, they always go after the vanity metrics. What do I mean by that? Vanity metrics are impressions, likes, engagement, session, etc., where they're just looking at how much traffic is going to a singular place, and they're not tracking the actual output or what it's generating at the level that they need to determine are those verticals working from a marketing standpoint. So really what I want to focus on is whenever we bring on new clients, we're looking at how do we track these activities all the way through the life cycle stage of that potential customer into the sales pipeline and closing deals. So in manufacturing, there's only a couple of main verticals. You've got trade shows, you've got trade publications, you've got social, you've got PPC and online media and advertising, and then you've got email marketing. The way to track these is depending upon what is the vertical. So when you look at trade shows, you can say I spent $25,000 or $200,000 on this trade show and I got X amount of leads. That's usually where it stops. And when you start to press companies and say, show me your data from the trade show and your ROI, they typically can't answer. Now, some of it has to do with the fact that it is a long sales cycle and a long sales process. We're looking at 6, 9, 12 months or longer to close a deal from the first conversation. But you can't just look at it and say, this is how many leads I got. You have to track those leads into deals and see, I had 100 leads from this trade show that was over these 3 days. How many of those turned into actual opportunities so you get a qualification step? You can talk to people at a booth, but once you get into the brass tacks of it and start to have actual conversations about the project or the issue they're dealing with, then you get into, out of those 100, maybe only 40 of those people are qualified at the level that you're looking for. Then from there, it goes so on and so forth. But you want to be able to look back 6 months, 12 months, a year later and say, this trade show produced this many initial leads, this many qualified leads, and this many actual deals. And then hopefully there's enough data there to show that it generated this much revenue. So as long as you're tracking that all the way through, in manufacturing, the only thing that most companies care about is it moving the needle? And do I have money and positive ROI? Some things take longer than others, but with trade shows, that's the way to do it. On the publication side, every single media publication, I don't care what magazine it is, will say we got this many readers, this many people see our magazine, but they can't ever tell you exactly how many people saw your print ad or your digital ad. They'll be able to say we tracked this many clicks and this is the people that clicked it, but then usually that's where it falls off. You have to track it to, they came to the website, did they fill out a form, did it convert into an actual lead? Did that lead turn into a deal? You're starting to see a theme here, and this is all that matters is, was the lead converted into a qualified opportunity? From there, did it result in a deal? What's the dollar amount for that deal, and where did it come from? That's really what you're looking at the end of the day of what matters. With SEO side, that's a longer term play. With brand awareness side on social, that's a longer term play, but you can still track it if you ask the right questions and have the system set up like HubSpot or like a CRM system to be able to say, this is where they started, they went through this process, then in the end, we got this type of revenue from it. Does not matter if you're working with an agency or not. The agency is doing activities to generate interest into your business and interest into your product or service. But then from there, if it's not getting into actual deals, you have to look at that strategy a little bit closer and determine, is this the best usage of my time or my money? We've got numerous examples where we've talked to clients and they come in and they become a partner with us and they're spending a couple $100,000 in one area. We look at the historical showing that has never proved to be ROI positive over X amount of years. And so therefore the budget for the following year, we want to change focus on that area, still do a little bit with it, maybe take 75% of that budget and devote it into an area that we can track it better or that should give better results. So it's all about moving the needle and getting opportunities. Brand awareness play is one thing, but at the end of the day, you have to be able to go and prove that this generated an opportunity that resulted in money and it's ROI positive. Without that, you can't argue anything. Data needs to back every single decision. You have to make sure you have the systems in place to track the data with a CRM system like HubSpot or Salesforce or Apollo or something like that. And you have to get the buy-in from your team to say, we're generating all this activity and spending all this money on marketing. I need the sales team to do their part and update deals and say, this is where it got it from. Put it in a centralized system, track the ROI on it. That's the only way to be successful. That's what we've done in the last 3 years. We've generated over $300 million in revenue for our clients. The only way we could have done that is by tracking everything to show ROI positive, but then be able to make adjustments throughout the year when we're working with customers to say, this isn't working as expected. Let's pivot and make adjustments to it. And that's what the name of the game is. It's not a set it and forget it strategy over the entire 12 months. You have to look at it and say, this is what we think is going to work. But as you're measuring it every month, every quarter, year over year, and comparing back to what performed last year, then you have to make those micro adjustments to the strategy and say, maybe this isn't the best source because it's not generating leads that are qualified, resulting in an actual deal or opportunity. So you shift focus from there and say, we're going to devote that attention into another area that is generating more activity. Even this year, beginning part of this year, end of last year, for some of our clients, Bing ads were performing better than Google, which typically never happens. So as that happened, we adjusted. 2 months after that happened, I said, this is a trend. We needed to take some money away from Google, just a little bit, 10, 20%, devote it into Bing, and it generated more activity. Then it started to die off at the end of the first quarter this year. So we went back and evened out the budget. But you have to take opportunities as they come. You're not going to be able to know that if you're not tracking the data and going all the way down to, is this generating opportunities? That's the only thing that matters. So hopefully you guys got value out of that and you start putting systems in place to track your data a little bit more effectively. If you guys want to work with us, head over to mfgtribe.com. We can have a discovery call and determine what strategies are going to work best for you. If you haven't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button below, turn on notifications. If you're not following me on LinkedIn, head over to LinkedIn and give me that follow. If you want to listen to this in podcast form, every major podcast platform has industrial sales and marketing with me, and I'll see you on the next one.